one is very minimal commands, and the other one is some commands and some SQLs. That's it. SQL queries. That's it. So if you're already familiar with the Google Cloud Platform, please jump to whichever one you want to do first and go at your own. You don't have to wait. And finish both the tracks. All right. So let's get started. I'm going to click, let me share my screen. I'm going to start recording as well. Anubhav, do you want to hit recording? My system is a little bit. Oh, thank you. You're the best. All right. So the first track 1, Code Lab. Somsunda, you have some issue with your system, I think. Yeah. I have sent you the link in the chat to track 1, which is the first Code Lab. We are going to follow that. Please click that link, or you can follow my screen also, but clicking that link is important because you have to copy. You have to copy and paste some queries and commands as I'm speaking. So yeah, please click the link. I'm going to share my window. Well, let me share my entire screen. All right. So just a quick overview. This entire series, like Jyoti mentioned, Code Vipassana, is aimed at a bunch of hands-on coding and Google Cloud Services implementation in the form of applications. Some are full stack applications and some only focused on ML specific applications, data analytics specific applications, data management apps, and also one more thing is probably DevOps tracks, which is coming up. So in this particular season, we have been focusing on 3 ML related applications and 2 full stack applications. In today's session, we will be doing 2 ML specific applications. This is the finale. So we are going to go at a faster pace. We also want to have your complete dedication here. We want to have your enthusiasm here because we want you to follow along and be able to complete these 2 exercises. So the email and other registration form and also responses from you will be taken till midnight of the 8th, which is for another 6 hours. It will be open, so you can reach out to me or Anubhav or Jyoti and let us know if you have completed. For those who are not completing it during this session that we're going to do right now. Okay, so this is the structure itself. The entire coding will, or the implementation of the application will be only for like 20 to 30 minutes focused, and remaining time will be for Q&As. During the time we are following instructions, there won't be we won't encourage questions, we won't encourage anything. If you have something pressing, if you have a showstopper, critical showstopper, please use the chat and ping. One of us will, whoever is able to, will look at that and provide the assistance. Anybody who's able to help out, please feel free to help out the other participants. But no talking, don't unmute in the middle of the session. I'm going to switch off the camera also when I'm starting the session. So it'll be like the only thing you'll be doing is following along, looking at the code lab or looking at the screen and copy pasting from the code lab. If needed, I'll also paste some stuff in the chat. So please listen to my instructions clearly so you're able to do it. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to turn off my camera, and the first one, track 1, is movie score or rating prediction with Vertex AI Auto ML. As you can see, the code lab has 8 steps, but don't worry, there are only 6 meaningful steps. 7 and 8 are boilerplate, meaning it is just cleaning up, deleting your project so that you save your credits and all. That's all. So introduction. In this code lab, we are going to create a movie score prediction model using Vertex AI Auto ML. So what is Auto ML? In Google Cloud, Vertex AI, we have both support for Auto ML and custom ML. Auto ML is where you don't have to write any ML code of your own. Rather, you will be focusing on building the data set, preparing the data set, and preparing unbiased data set of your own. Everything else, like choice of model, choice of the other details that is required for building a model and training, will be taken care of by the service itself. So that is why it's called AutoML. We'll also see how to deploy it and how to trigger the endpoint using a simple Java application, one-page Java Cloud Functions. Now, that part of implementing the Cloud Functions itself is optional, but I'm going to show you that anyway. It is there as part of the code lab. You can execute that. But if you complete up to step 5, I will consider that you have completed the code lab. Step 6 is okay, but it is good to learn, because that way you will know how to implement an AutoML, get an endpoint for you, and then use that endpoint in an actual application. So that is why I'm going to include that step as well. All right. So let's begin. Go to console.cloud.google.com. This is what the page should look like for you. Either this, or you will see a plain screen. If everybody is able to see my screen and no issue, Jyoti, can you just ping me that you're able to see my console screen?
Yeah, I'll be.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Thanks, Anubhav. All right. So if you have not already created a project, you will not get this project name right here. So what I recommend is click New Project, provide the details that you need. It will not ask you for enabling any billing account, because using that link, it has already been enabled for you. So just create a project. If you don't know how to do that, the Code Lab has instructions right here in requirements page, which is step 2, requirements, a browser, Chrome or Firefox, which you're already in because the link you used there only. Second step, as you can see, create your project. So there is a link which says how to create a project. So click that link and follow the instructions there. But at this point, I hope all of you have already created the project and the billing is enabled on it. So I'm not going to get into that step. Just ping in the chat if you have issues. I'll wait for a minute until 6:44 to see if anyone has any critical pressing showstopper. Ayan, no. If your first project has already been created, don't create more. Use the project itself. I just shared the link, Avijit. Which link do you want, Avijit? So everybody who has just joined, please go to this site. Whatever you need to know is there. I'm not going to repeat those instructions. All the instructions you need, Ria, Avijit, whatever instructions you need, it's there in that document. Sorry, in that site. If you scroll down, you will see a doc.google.com snippet. You will see everything. After creating the first project, this is what your page should look like. It's 6:45, so we are going to go to the next step. But please make sure after creating your project, on the top left drop down, you should be able to see the project name, project ID, and all that. You should be able to select the project from this drop down. It should be there. That's all. That's all you need to do right now. All right. Okay. Thanks, Anubhav. Devasmita, I think you got that. So let's move on to the next step, which is enabling the BigQuery and Vertex AI APIs. Ayush and Sachin, you have raised your hand. Please use the chat to post your messages. Anubhav and Jyoti will be vigilant. All right. So the next step is navigate to the BigQuery console, or if it's not already enabled, you have to enable it. So let's see how to do that. So once again, I'm showing you my Google Cloud Console. On the search bar right here, type BigQuery, right? Why are we talking about BigQuery when we are going to use Vertex AI? So for that, I'll tell you, BigQuery is a data warehouse. In this module, though, we will be using it in the capacity of a data warehouse only. We will be storing the data that we want to perform the model on in BigQuery, right? That's why we are using BigQuery. We'll be performing the ML model creation step in Vertex AI, but the data will be stored in BigQuery. So type BigQuery on the search bar right here. Once you click that, it should open BigQuery if it is already enabled. If not, it will prompt you to enable the API. So click that to enable the API. If it is not prompting you, you don't know how to do that. In the code lab, under create your project, step 3, you navigate to BigQuery to enable the API, or copy paste this URL directly in your browser, console.cloud.google.com/BigQuery, right? So that should lead you to enabling the API. It's pretty self-explanatory, so please complete that step. Enable. All you have to do is just click a button. That's all. Your BigQuery API is enabled. All right, now for the next step, activating shell. So what is Cloud Shell? Just like you use command prompts, like Windows command prompts in to do some shell commands or do some commands in your terminal, right? Command prompt. So similar to that, BigQuery also has its own shell or terminal called as Cloud Shell, where we'll execute some commands, which is equivalent to point and click operations on your Google Cloud Console. Why am I introducing you to this? Because there are so many things that you can do without switching tabs with just or Cloud Shell commands, BigQuery Cloud Shell commands, which is inherent to BigQuery, and it can be executed from Google Cloud Shell. So this makes your job and life easier when it comes to building services with Google Cloud. So that's why I'm introducing you to Cloud Shell. Not just for this experiment, this is going to be a good learning for you for anything you want to do with Google Cloud in the future. It will make your life easy because these commands can also be incorporated as part, or if you're in the DevOps or if you're automating your whole execution or implementation of a cloud project, you can incorporate these commands directly in your Terraform script or any other orchestration scripts, right? So that's why it is very useful in the future also, not just for the session. So please activate your Cloud Shell. So how are we going to do that? Once you have enabled BigQuery, you will still remain on the console. So on the top right corner, you see the small square. Within that, you see a right arrow followed by an underscore, small underscores. If you hover over it, it will say activate Cloud Shell. So just click that. Once you click activate Cloud Shell, you should see this Cloud Shell terminal slowly open up in the bottom of the page. Just expand it and make sure you're able to see it. It should be pointing to your project ID, and it should be prompting you to enter your first Cloud Shell command. So I'm going to give you a minute to make sure your BigQuery API is enabled and your Cloud Shell is activated. Once you're connected to Cloud Shell, you should see that you're already authenticated and the project is set to your current project ID. If not, ensure that you're authenticated. How will you ensure that? Use these commands in the code lab that you're seeing: gcloud auth list, gcloud config list project, and then gcloud config set project underscore ID. In the place of project underscore ID, you should provide the ID of your project. So how will you get the ID of your project? Right here on the top right left corner, click the drop down, you should see the ID on the right hand side for your project. So copy paste that. That's not mandatory. By default, your Cloud Shell should be pointing to your current project. If not, follow these commands. Copy paste right there in your Cloud Shell. In my case, it's already pointing to my project, so I'm not executing that. Please do that. All right. So at 6:50, we have to move on to the next step. Now we are set with the basics. We are going to prepare training data. So this is very important for all data-related projects. You will, if you're doing a project or an implementation or running your own new application or your own startup for which you're building a product, you will spend a big deal of time, like 70% of your entire product development will go into understanding, preparing, cleaning, doing that data pipeline and preparing your data. In this case, for the sake of this experiment, I've already prepared the data for you. So we are going to use the data from this place, and the link is provided right here. It's a GitHub repo. The data I took from a publicly available website, one of the sites. So multiple sites, publicly available data. I combined the data from multiple sites because I wanted some international movies, including Indian movies as well. So I just brought in data from different files. I've prepared that and I've stored it in that location. So right click this link and save that CSV in your local. All you have to do is just save the CSV. Right click here from the GitHub or just download it. Just go to movies core right there, scroll down, you will see movies.csv, right? Sorry, no, it's not movies.csv. The name of the file, I'll tell you, movies_train.csv. So just download that file in your local. Just make sure if you're not comfortable using so much data, you can just delete all the rows and just keep one row. That's fine too. The file is movies.csv. Save that in your local. You don't have to go crazy. You can delete all the rows and keep just one row of record. That's also fine totally. It's up to you. Okay. This is a learning process for how to implement this. I'm not going to test the accuracy, or I'm not going to tell you that your data and training should be perfect, because the core focus right here is to understand how to do it so you can do it on your own data. This is just a use case. So don't worry about how many records you're using. All right. So I'm hoping you all have saved the training data right now. So we're moving on to the next step, creating and loading the data set. The fun begins right now. So we already have the file saved somewhere. Now we are going to create a BigQuery data set. So what is a BigQuery data set? It is, if you have already worked in relational database, on-prem databases, or any other cloud database, or even BigQuery for that matter, if you already worked on BigQuery, you would know data set is the actual schema of your database application. In other words, it could be a collection of objects like tables, views, your ML models, your connections. So all these will live under data set. In other words, in a traditional database management system, you can compare this to a database, right? So that's what we call as data set here in BigQuery. So now we have to create that. Now, if you ask me, is this the only way to create a data set? No, there are multiple ways. You can use the BigQuery console to point and click and create your data set, or you can use the Cloud Shell command. Okay, I'm going to tell you two methods. One is how to do this using Cloud Shell, and how to do this using Cloud Console, whichever is convenient for you, right? Yeah, Ashish, you've raised a hand. Use the chat, please. Please use the chat to show any questions you have, okay? All right, so I'm going to show you how to create a data set from. So right here on my screen, you see console.cloud.com, and I've clicked and enabled BigQuery API, and this is where it lands me. This is the landing page. On the left, I have the Explorer pane, and on the right, I have welcome page, and then the query editor page, right? So on the Explorer page, you see my project right here, a BS-project ID, right? So I'm going to click the three dots next to it and click Create Dataset. That's it. That is one way to create it. But now I'm not going to use that method. I'm just showing that for your understanding. I'm going to use the other method, which is using the BigQuery shell, Cloud Shell command. So copy the command from the code lab. The first step, which says in Cloud Shell, use the dqmk command to create a data set called movies. So I'm copying the first command, going back to the tab where I have opened the Cloud Console, right? Cloud Shell terminal, right? You understand the Cloud Shell terminal? Can you see my screen? Yeah? Just a quick yes, because I want to make sure everyone's able to follow. Okay, cool. All right, thank you for that. I'm going to paste this command right here. Now, the location is important because the location that you give for BigQuery should be the location you give for Vertex AI as well. So make sure you take a note of what it is. In this case, I'm going to give US Central 1. You can also do the same thing. And then I'm going to name it as movies finale, because already I have a data set named movies. So I'm going to give this name and hit enter. It'll ask me to authorize. I did authorize. Okay, I have a problem with US Central 1 location. Hold on. Oh, okay, sorry. There is a, you have to note something there. The location is prefixed by a hyphen, right? What looks like a single hyphen, it's actually two hyphens. You can't see that in the code lab, so make sure it is two hyphens. Location equal to US Central 1, and then movies finale. Okay, the data set is successfully created. Please note it is two hyphens, not one. Okay, I'm going to paste that in the chat. You're not able to see that in the code lab, so that's why the issue. So in your case, it should be hyphen hyphen location equal to location name, which is US Central 1, followed by movies. Okay, so that is done. You can see the instructions right there in the code lab as well. Location is hyperlinked. If you right click and see, you can see the list of supported locations. Make sure for this experiment, you choose US hyphen Central 1 or Asia hyphen South 1. Just so I know that they work in both Vertex AI and BigQuery. So let's not complicate it. Or just just use US hyphen Central 1 for now. Okay. Next thing. Second thing is make sure you have the CSV ready. We have already loaded it, so we have it ready. Execute the following commands in Cloud Shell to clone the repository and navigate to the project. Okay, so copy this repository link from there. That is also hyperlinked, and then do a git clone on the project that where you are. Anyway, let me see. All right. In your case, you don't have to do this movie underscore finale. Since I already have that project, I have to create a new folder. So please copy that command in step 2, git clone space repository link. In the place of repository link, make sure you have copied the hyperlink from repository right here. So I can ping that to you if you need it in the chat so that you don't have to copy. Yeah. Thanks, Sujay. All right. We have it. So now navigate to that folder, movie hyphen score. So in your case, copy the cd command from CodeLab, cd space movie hyphen score. All right. So once you're inside that, now what we're going to do, the next step, use the BQ load command to load the CSV file into a BigQuery table. Note that you can directly upload it from BigQuery UI. So like I showed you before, from the BigQuery console, you can directly upload the file. But the other way, easier method is to not leave the current tab that you're in, copy this command and paste it in your Cloud Shell. You might have, in my case, I might have to make a small change because of the name change of datasets, but in your case, you should be able to just plain paste it. What's the name of my dataset here? Movies finale. Okay. All right. Upload is complete. So I'm hoping all of you are able to complete upload as well. If you have changed the name of the dataset, please make sure you change the dataset name here as well. So I have copy pasted the command here in my notepad. You should be able to see my screen. This highlighted part has the dataset name dot table name. So if you, in the previous step, if you did not follow the code lab and created your own dataset name, then make sure you have mentioned the right dataset name here as well. If you have followed the code lab, then you should be able to copy paste from the code lab itself, not this. I have changed my dataset name, so I have changed it here as well. All right. So once that is done, I'm hoping you all are able to upload the data into your BigQuery table. Now we are all done. We have enabled the API. We have downloaded the project, cloned the project in your Cloud Shell terminal and your, Explorer, and then you're able to you've uploaded the data from the CSV to BigQuery table. That's it. All of this we have done using BigQuery Cloud Shell commands. Now we want to make sure the table is created, data set is created, table is created, and the data is uploaded. How will you check that? Copy this SQL in step 4 and go to your BigQuery console. So we are no longer staying in the terminal, Cloud Shell terminal. For the moment, we are switching to BigQuery console. On the right, you see the Query Explorer, BigQuery Explorer, right? I'm going to paste it there. So make sure you have the right name and then dataset name dot table name and run. I have limited the query result to 3. You can limit it to 1 because I don't want you to use up your. I don't think you will be using it up because BigQuery has a sandbox, and by default you will be using your sandbox. So just limit the query result to 1 and only choose 1 or 2 columns. Don't choose all the columns, okay, for the query. So you should be able to see the movie name, rating, genre, and runtime, because those are the 4 columns I've selected in the code lab. That's it. Now, I'm also, if you want to see the query results using Cloud Shell, you can run the command that is right below that. Don't do that right now. I'm just showing that to you to show that it is a possibility. Okay, you don't have to do it. Now, moving on to the next step. Using BigQuery data in Vertex AI AutoML. So now we are all set with the data part, data sourcing part. Next step, which is the fun part, is creating the AutoML. So let's switch to that. So how will you do that? Vertex AI. So go back to your Cloud Console. This time on the search bar on top, search for Vertex space AI. There are multiple options. Make sure you're choosing the one that just has Vertex space AI. Vertex AI. Just choose that and you will be landed on this page, dashboard. And on the left, you will be seeing the tools, data, model development, deploy, news. So we are going to click on the data section, second option, which is data sets. Remember what region you selected for BigQuery? Choose that, US-Central 1, and click create. It is important, please make sure the regions are the same. All right, so you can follow the code lab or you can follow along and choose a dataset name. I'm going to give it as demo finale. In your case, you can just keep it as demo as shown in the code lab. It's up to you. Capital D, because apparently dataset. It doesn't matter actually. Yeah. Now select a data type and objective. We have image, tabular, text, video. You would have guessed it right. BigQuery stores data in tabular format. So click tabular. In region, it should by default show US Central 1 because we changed it initially before creating. So if it's not, please make sure you choose the same region that you chose for BigQuery and click create. That's it. Data set is created. Now we want to add data to our data set. How are you going to do that? Because we already have the table in BigQuery, Don't choose upload CSV. Don't choose select CSVs don't choose select CSV from cloud storage. You have to choose select a table or view from BigQuery because we already have the data stored in BigQuery, right? Choose that. And in the next option, select a table or view from BigQuery. So click browse. This is where you should be able to see the created table and the data set. In my case, my data set name is movies finale and name is movies underscore score. In your case, your data set should be movies and your table name should be movies underscore score if you created it that way. Select that and hit select. You should get a green check on the BigQuery path. Hit continue. Good. We have the analysis page. It has the source. It has the analyze. Just make sure you're able to see the fields. And we're all set. Going back to the code lab. We are done with creating the data set. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to wait for a couple of minutes here to see if everyone is following along. So I'll wait for 5 minutes here because we have cramped up a lot of steps. So I want to give you all some time to follow the steps. Sujay, are you still on the call? You're facing error with... Sujay, you had issues with enabling the API. Are you still having issue? Okay. Do you... can you check if it is because of the page where you left? Which page, Dipayan? The last one. The Vertex AI page? Okay, this is the last page. You should be able to see, after you create the data set, you should be able to see the list of column names that you created in BigQuery, right? So you should be able to see all that here. So far we have completed the enabling BigQuery API, enabling Vertex AI API. So for people who had issues with enabling the Vertex AI API, just make sure you're using the billing account that I sent. It shouldn't take much time, but yeah, if it takes, that's why I'm waiting. We'll resume this session at 7:15. I want everyone to catch up on the steps that we missed out so far. So yeah, terminal of BigQuery. Yeah, I can repeat those steps. So let me just summarize and go back to repeating the steps we have done so far. All right, I'm going to use my code lab right now because you've already seen that in my cloud console. So step 4, click step 4 in code lab. Step 3 is preparing the data, which we have already done. It's there in the GitLab. You don't have to do anything. GitHub, you don't have to do anything. Step 4, creating and loading the data set. The first command right there, bqmk -- location equal to US-central1 space movies. So this command will create this data set named movies in your BigQuery instance. Second thing, we are cloning this repository into a project, movies-score, and you're storing that particular entire project into movies-score folder using this git clone command, and then changing directory to movies-score. Why we are doing that? Because inside that folder, we have copied the files from this Git repository, movie-score. That is why we are changing the directory to movie-score. Now, inside that movie-score folder, you're running the BQ load command, and this command basically will take the data from the file, the CSV file called movies_BQ_SRC, and it will create a BigQuery table called movies_score inside the dataset movies, and it will create the columns that are listed here and will load the data into the table. That's it. And in step 4, you're just querying to confirm that the data is created. That's all it is with BigQuery. Moving on, Vertex AI. I think a lot of you had issue with enabling Vertex AI API. I just skipped that part because in my case, it's already enabled. If it is not enabled for you, you will be prompted to enable that API. If it is not allowing you to enable it, don't worry about it. It might be the issue of, I don't know, some account issue. You may have already used up your credit and you're not actually availing the $5 credit, or something of that would be the reason for it. Technically, it should not be. Once it's enabled, it may take a few minutes, but once it's enabled, you should be able to create on the left-hand side in Vertex AI Console Explorer, you should be seeing data section. Under the data section, you will see data sets. Click data set. Change the region to US-Central 1 because that's what we created in BigQuery. That's where we have created the BigQuery dataset. So we are going to align the region, provide the dataset name as demo, and under the data type and objective, select tabular. Select the first option, regression/classification. You should choose tabular, and that will be selected by default. And then your source options should be select a table or view from BigQuery. And once you select that, it will ask for BigQuery path. Click browse, and you should be able to see the BigQuery dataset and table that we have created. You should select that here. Once that is selected, click continue. Dataset is created. You should be seeing this source analyze page. That's where we dropped off. Now, I'm going to just have a quick check with you all. I can't find the file to upload the file movies-score.csv. It's in the GitHub repo, but you don't have to take the CSV. It's not movie-score.csv. See, that is why you need to do in the code lab. I'm sharing my screen. Please check my screen, Priyanshu. Step 4, click step 4 in the code lab. Phase 4 in the code lab. Step 2, the step that I've highlighted, git clone repository link, and below that you have change directory. Once you do that, this command right below that will automatically take the CSV movies_BQ_SRC. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to worry about the CSV at all. Just follow these steps. The CSV will be referenced in this command. It will automatically load it to BigQuery, the data to BigQuery. BQMK command is not working because I told you the location, the hyphen before the location is not a single hyphen. It should be double hyphen. You're not seeing that because in the code lab it's actually sticking together. I actually pinged this thing in the chat a while ago. You have to create the BQMK command with a double hyphen before the location. Yeah. All right. Ayush, I didn't understand that question. What do you mean by we have to run this command at the same time? Means? Can you elaborate? We have to move on to the next step right now. So this is the last step where we'll be creating the training. So just the git clone command the git clone command is one command. Once that is cloned, you have to change directory. Don't copy paste. Even if you copy paste, it will execute separately only. It's not a problem. After clicking browse, I'm not getting file. It's not a file. You're selecting, you mean this browse, right? In Vertex AI, right? In Vertex AI dataset, if you click browse, you have to select the BigQuery table there. It is not a file. Let me show that to you again. Click on source, right? That's where you're probably editing the source. If I'm changing the data source, you should not choose upload CSV files. You have to choose the third option. Select a table or view from BigQuery, and then you will click browse. Once you click browse on the right-hand side, you will be seeing this movies data set, and movies underscore score is the name of the table. It's not the CSV. If you're not seeing that, it means you are either skipping the BigQuery step, or you either skip the BigQuery step or you created the BigQuery table in another region. That's why you're not seeing it. All right. Upload a CSV, which location are taken? Rahul, there is no separate location for CSV. You already created the data set in US Central 1 location. So we won't be needing a separate location for CSV. Once you upload the CSV using the BigQuery command shell command, Cloud Shell command, all you have to do is you're done with the query and make sure your data is available. You're done with that part. Now you're moving on to Vertex AI. All right, we'll move on. Kostav, nothing is shown where? Can you ping quickly? In the browse option, if you're not seeing anything, it means you have not, have you successfully created, Kostav, have you successfully created BigQuery table, BigQuery data set and the table? Which region is your BigQuery instance selected? Which region have you created the BigQuery? So when you're creating BigQuery command, BigQuery data set, you should provide, if you see my instructions in the code lab, BQ MK hyphen location equal to location, right? What location did you provide there? So that location should be the same as the location that you're selecting in Vertex AI. That's the issue you're facing. Yeah, it will show it. No, you have to use 2 dashes, not 1 dash. Creating the BigQuery table, Rizwan, is not a separate step. You're creating the table as part of the BQ load command itself. So this command should not give you an error. I just showed you it's working on my screen. I showed you that, right, on my Cloud Shell. So some of the people are already able to create the table. So there's no error in the command. Make sure you're giving the right dataset name that you've created in BigQuery. Parsing row, no, should not be the case, because did you create the git clone repository link, the entire repository, and did you navigate into the movie hyphen score directory? Did you change anything in the CSV? Yeah. The steps in the code lab should help, Brishti. Just follow the steps right there. If you changed or did not copy paste anything correctly from this command, or you copy pasted something extra, then it will not work. Make sure it's exactly what is there in the code lab for step 3. Step 1, you're not able to see there are 2 hyphens before location. It's not just 1 location. All right. So let's move on to the next step. We have, see, don't worry if you're facing difficulty also. We've already completed it. Like, we've gone through the steps 2 times. We will do this last step where you're going to train the model. That's it. After that, I'm going to stop this code lab right here and move to the next. If you have not completed any of the steps or facing issues, you still have time. After the session also, you can go through the code lab, follow it exactly one by one. You will be able to get this done. So don't panic. That's totally fine. If you have specific questions, there are people who have already completed in the group. Please help out other people in the chat. All right. Now let's move on to the next step. Ayan, you've already moved on to the next step. That's why you're getting that question, correct? you've completed these steps. You're not facing any issue, I'm assuming. All right, so let's get there. Yeah, you can export test data set to BigQuery. That's okay. All right, now let's go to the next step, which is using creating the new training your model, right? So that is the step where we are. So I'm going to go to my Cloud Console, right? On the left, you see model development. On that, you see training, or on the same page where you are, the data set, you should see the train new model link. Either way, you can use either one of the options. Select that. Data set is selected by default. You won't change it. Objective, we are going to go to the code lab, see what I've selected. Classification. So I'm going to choose classification only. Training method. There is AutoML, custom training. We are not going to do custom training today. We are going to do AutoML. Select AutoML, click continue. In this page, it will ask you for the name of the training. I'm leaving it as demo finale. I'm not changing it. Target column, please focus. Don't make a mistake here. We need to choose the right target column. Go to your code lab and see what target column is selected there. It is mentioned in step 3. Give your model a name and select target column as score. So score is my target column. You can export the test data set to BigQuery. I am not going to do that. Click continue. Actually, let me do that. Export test data to BigQuery. Select the BigQuery path. You will have to select your data set. Movies finale. You have to give a new table name. So I'm going to do movies underscore score underscore test. This is an optional step. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. Okay. Select that. Why am I giving a new name here? Because we already use the name movies underscore score in the source table. This is the test data table. You don't want to store it in the same table, right? You have to give a different name. So that's why you need. But this is just for your learning purpose. Feel free to uncheck it after you do this. Okay. You don't have to do it. Now continue. This step has a list of columns. Just make sure everything is okay. Basically, it will be okay right now. You don't have to spend time doing that. Scroll down. You don't have to change anything much here. Click continue. Budget. Now this is important. We are going to keep it as minimum 1 node hour. You may also be eligible to train with free node hours. You can check the pricing guide, but right now you all have $5. If you're using, if you're going to train this one, you can do 1 node hour. It will take probably $3 or something. But if you don't want to train, you can stop at this step and just see me do this. But if you want to train, you want to generate your API, you want to deploy it and use it in your application, feel free to go ahead and do this. 1 node hour is basically, it's equivalent to 1 actual hour, but sometimes it will take more than 1 hour, but it won't be training past that 1 hour. It will be training only for 1 hour. After that, there are some boilerplate operational stuff that the process will take care of in the background behind the scenes. You won't know what it is doing, but you will know that the training is complete in 1 hour. So you won't be charged for more than 1 node hour. Don't worry. So just put the budget as 1. Enable early stopping has to be checked, because this means if your model training ends earlier, it will stop. And if your budget does not allow you, it will stop beforehand, right? If you're not enabling this, your training will continue until the entire budget is exhausted, right? So we don't want to do that. So make sure, enable this and hit start training. That's it. It will take some time for this to complete. You will be emailed when the training is complete. We don't have to wait until it's complete, but I'm going to show you a model that I've already trained on the same data set. So you can take a look at how it looks after the training is complete, right? So I'm going to click that. So once your model training is completed, you will be seeing this evaluate page. On this page, you will see precision, recall, ROC, accuracy, confusion matrix, feature importance. What is the importance of a specific field in the entire model training result? So all of those things you can observe here. And if you're happy with it, go ahead and deploy your endpoint, deploy your model into an endpoint. Now, you will ask, why do I have to deploy into an endpoint? Because you want to make sure that your model that you've created is accessible for applications. You're able to use this and give your model a face. For instance, I've created this application in Angular. I'll give you the link to the application which you can play around with, for which this model as the data set, this model as a training model. I've exposed this model into an endpoint, which is a REST API endpoint. So I'm using a Cloud Functions application, Java, to consume this endpoint and expose that into my application. So from my application, I'm accessing this as a HTTP REST API, right? So that is exactly why you need to deploy your model into a REST API, because you can request it on demand for your application user interface. That is why we need to expose it as an endpoint. So that is why we are doing this. Click deploy to endpoint. You will be asked a bunch of questions, just configuration questions like this. Endpoint name, location is selected by default, and then standard and continue. It'll ask for model settings. Basically, traffic split is if you want to allow 100% traffic, load balancing and all, you can provide here. Pretty much don't change anything in these things, leave it by default, whatever it is. And then if you want to monitor your model, like how it is being used, whether it's up or down, all those things can be done if you enable model monitoring. Don't do this right now for your testing purposes. Don't enable monitoring at all. Next one is your objectives. This I'm just showing what it looks like. So this is all ML stuff. It will tell you if the training serving is actually if it has a skew. It'll tell you your model training is skewed to a particular feature, or it's skewed towards particular set of data. Data is biased, and all those things you will get to know based on what you enable from here. Training data source, again, you can provide the data store again, data set, data source location here. And all those things can be provided. This is purely from monitoring perspective. If you disable this here, you won't be asked all these questions, and you can directly hit deploy after you provide your endpoint, right? So you can't do this step right now because your model is still training. In my case, I've already deployed this to an endpoint, so I'm just showing to you what it looks like. Once your model is deployed, you should be able to see what it looks like. And then sample request. In this page, you will see how to invoke, how to consume this endpoint from your application in different languages as a REST API, or how you'll invoke this in Python, right? So copy paste this into your application, right? So that's how this gets implemented. And going back to the training page, movie score classification, I want to show you one more thing. All right, now we have evaluated, deployed, testing. Right? Once you deploy it, you should be able to see the sample requests and everything here. And below that, you have the testing. So here I have provided the name of the movie, any data you can provide. Basically, what all fields you're using will be listed here. You can provide the endpoints, provide the details to your fields right here. Let's say I want to, some random movie I want to test, right? Yeah. So this is the application that uses that endpoint actually, which I just showed you right now. I'm going to load a random movie. This is just for me to collect the input data. Let's say I want to test this out, the Boss Baby. So I'll copy paste the inputs and put it right here. Rating is PG. Genre is animation. What is the year? 2017. From McGrath is the director. When was it released? State. And budget is this many US dollars. Right, so I've provided the information. There's 2 more fields. Let me enter those as well. Company, DreamWorks Animation, and runtime is 97 minutes. Right, and I'm going to hit predict. So this is how I'll test the model that I've just created, the endpoint that I've just created, right? Prediction result is 7. Now, confidence score, it's only 49% confident. It's okay. I didn't do a good job with the data set anyway, but the whole point is you can see this. Now, if you want to validate this, you can just go to IMDb, Boss Baby, and see what rating they actually got. 6.3, not bad. We are very close. I'm not saying the model is great because my data set was very much skewed, so I'm not going to give it to me, but I'm just telling you that this is how you test it. It's just a fun exercise to see the results sometimes. No? So that's about it. We have completed successfully. Now, if you're interested further in learning how to use this in the kind of application that I've built right here, how to trigger it from Java, Cloud Functions, please follow this code lab along. In step 6, I have explained how to create a Cloud Function. The code that you need for this Cloud Functions Java class is also available in the GitHub repository. It's not part of the demo today. It's not part of our hands-on, but you can execute it at your own time. The Java class and the POM XML and the steps to create that is right here in step 6. It's very straightforward. The code is right there. You just copy paste, run it, and you're set. All the code that you need, and even the application's Angular code, the MongoDB code, everything is available in the GitHub that I've provided to you. If you're interested, you can time, but that's not part of today's track 1. We have completed track 1. So I want to just give you all a couple of minutes before we switch to track 2, which is very less number of steps anyway. Model is still being trained. Yeah, it will be. You won't get the result for that model training by end of the session today. That's totally fine. After the session, like after a couple of hours, probably you will get the result. You can check that and reach us out in email, or you can use the same form that I gave you. I'll probably create another column there, so you can just say you've completed and share the score that you've got, accuracy. So I'll send you that at the end. We'll do track 2 right now. It's very simple. Track 2 will not have more steps. I'm intending to cover track 2 in 10 minutes, and then we'll open up for Q&A. Okay. So for track 2, I'm going to I'm going to paste the link to the code lab. So please click that. We have already completed loading the data and all. So please skip steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have already completed that. So you can easily skip all those and straight land on step 6. We just have 3 steps to complete here. That's all. Very simple. We'll complete it in 10 minutes. I'm going to give you 1 minute to settle in, click the code lab, and just give me a bunch of yeses or show of hands. I prefer the messages. Can't we deploy the model now? You can deploy it, Aridra, but the thing is it will not finish before our training ends. So let it run. For me, the point is if you complete, you will get an email. If the model completes, you will get an email. And what I will need is, I will send you the link to the registration form again at the end of the session. You just respond or edit your response by saying completed and what is your accuracy score that you got. That's all. No. Don't create another project for track 2, please. No, stay on the same project. We have completed all the steps that is needed for track 2, part of track 1 itself. So please stay in the same project. Stay right there. Don't change much. Just click this code lab link. That's all. Because we need to accuracy score. Yeah, I'll show you how to do that. So not accuracy score. What I want you to do from Vertex AI part is just go to this page, and in the evaluate page, you will see, you can send me a, yeah, this part is all I need. Your precision recall, this result, right? The label result. So if you can just, or confidence score. What I want you to do is do a test sample and send me the confidence score. You can share one of two things with me. One, just like I did this testing your model, right? You can test your model, click predict, and show me the result on the right-hand side that you saw here. Put this screenshot in a document, in a Google Docs, and share the link. Give me access and share the link in the registration form that I'll send you. You can edit it and send it to me. Now, how to get this particular data? I'll give you a link actually. Again, that also I will give you at the end of the session to the app that I showed you here. This is the app that we created. And this, if you keep loading random movies, it will keep generating new data, new movies, right? So you can just copy the data from here, paste it in your model input, test your model input, and then click predict and show me the result. That's it. This application is just for you to play around and find out the data, because otherwise it's difficult for you to search for a movie and copy paste, right? So I'm just helping you with that. That's all. So I will give you a link to this app. I'll put this all in the document that I've been sharing before. So let me add this here. Track 1 results. So here you have the link to the app input. Test data. Link to Vertex AI. This page, right? Deploy page, deploy and test page. Yeah, I have to remove my project ID and you will be good. Oh, this will ask for, yeah, you can't follow this actually. I'll just leave it right here. Make sure you provide your model name, model ID number. And I'm hoping you chose US Central one only. Yeah, and then you can use this. So you can send me the screenshot and submit all of this to the form, where I'll include another field. That's it. All right. So this is for track 1. For track 2, I'll tell you what to do. All right, let's begin the track 2 exercise. I'm hoping you all have access to. Very easy. Track 2 is very easy. We only have 3 steps to do because the first 5 steps we already completed as part of track 1. So why am I not able to see my code lab? 1 second. Okay, there it is. No. Did I accidentally close it? Yeah, no, it's right here. So we are in track 2. I'm hoping all of you have the link to track 2 code lab. If not, go to abhirami.dev, click the third link on top, Code Vipassana Season 1 Finale. Track 2 code lab link is right here. Click that. You will land on this page and you can straight away go to step 6, which is predicting movie rating on a scale of 1 to 10. Now, what is the difference between track 1 and track 2? The first 5 steps are same for track 1 and track 2. Why? Because in both cases, we are using BigQuery as the source data source data warehouse, right? We are storing the data that the movie's data set. We are storing it in BigQuery. Now, what is different is in track 1, we used Vertex AI's AutoML model to create your training. But here we are going to use BigQuery's custom ML. We are not using AutoML now. We are using BigQuery's custom ML. What does custom ML mean? Means you will be choosing what algorithm you're going to use for training this data to create this model, right? And what it also means is that without using Python code or without using AutoML, you're going to just use SQL queries to write this to use an existing algorithm, or to use a model. To use an algorithm to create your model, right? That's what we're going to do right now. So in just one simple query, you can create a model. In this case, we are going to use logistic regression. If you remember, the Vertex AI model that we created, the AutoML we created, was a classification model, not a regression. But in this one, we are going to do a logistic regression model just to show some variety. That's all, just to learn another thing. That's all. But this is not an AutoML. This is a custom ML. Means we are going to choose and configure what model we are going to use, what algorithm we're going to use, right? So once you click step 6, right here, you see the query, create the logistic regression model. So this is the query, create or replace model, dataset name dot model name, just retain the same model name. This is a name that you can provide, but just copy paste this. Options, don't change anything, just auto class weights is true. These are all configuration methods. So what each one of these means is described right here. Option clause specifies which model type you're using. Logistic regression, that is the model type. Second one, data split method, no split, which forces BigQuery ML to train on the data per the query conditions. So it forces saying that no split, instead just follow my query. I know what I want to train. I've provided it in my query. Don't split it for me. Split it based on the query that I have provided. That's what this means. Now you can ask, how can a database do data model? How do ML models do predictions? That is the specialty of BigQuery, because BigQuery is not just a data warehouse or an analytical database. It is also an analytics platform, and also a platform where you can create your ML models, do auto ML also. You can also deploy models. You can do a bunch of things. You can even do unstructured data storage and creation of ML models on unstructured data using BigQuery ML. So, right? In short, it's called BQML. So that is the magic of using. That's the power of using BigQuery. You can use it as both your data warehouse as also as your analytics and ML engine, right? So that's what we're going to do right now. And then what else? What else? Yeah, the input label columns construct here means which column the select statement should use as the label column, which is the target column basically. So score is our target column. In this case, model will learn which of the 10 values of score is most likely based on the other values present in each row. That's about it. Auto class weights equal to true means balances the class labels in the training data, which means like if you have 1,000 records, and if 900 of them fall under class 9 or class 8, you have a total of 10 labels for that matter. If it falls under class 8 or class 9, then your labeling is not balanced, right? It is not balanced, it's unbalanced. So that's why we are setting it to true, where BigQuery automatically balances the class labels while it is training. Otherwise, your data will be imbalanced and the model will learn to predict the most popular class of labels more heavily without balancing it. So that's why we are setting this as true, auto class weight. So it will put some weight on its own and it will try to balance your labels. That's why. And the select statement is where we are actually selecting the data from the table data that we have already entered. Remember, for Vertex AI, we already created and loaded the table. From that, we are choosing a segment of the data to use for this training by putting the data_cat field as train. This constraint we are using in order to filter reports. So copy this, go to your BigQuery console. Sorry, wrong window. Okay, right here. So we have Vertex AI open, Cloud Shell open, BigQuery open. Straight jump to BigQuery console. So you should be seeing the query explorer, query editor right here. So select, if you want, you can select another, open another query tab, query editor tab, and paste this query right here. In my case, I want to use the movies finale dataset. In your case, movies itself is fine. I'm creating this model. Character is illegal, so I'm going to make it as proper. Make sure the quotes are proper. If it is showing error message, right? That's it. It is still showing error. Unexpected string literal. Which one? This probably this. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. So if you see my screen right now, I have highlighted the portion which is dataset name dot table name. The enclosing quote is not actually a quote. It is the symbol right below the tilde. On your keyboard, you have a symbol right below the tilde. You can remove it actually. Don't stress it. Yeah, just remove it and run. Should be fine. That's it. Click run. It should start creating your model. Now this will also take some time. So I'm not going to ask you to wait until it finishes. We'll probably give it 5 minutes and move on to the next steps. But if it is finished before that, then it's great. If it does not finish before our session end today, still fine. Let it finish. I'll show you what you need to show me at the end of this. Same thing, same way we did for track 1. For track 2 also, I will need you to send me a screenshot. That's about it, right? When it completes. So in my case, I'm going to let it run and I'm going to go to the core lab and show you the next step. That's it. That's all it takes to create a model using BigQuery SQL. Once it completes, you will get these two result in your model. So how will you know where to find this? Once this buffering completes, once this model is created, you should, in the results tab, you will see model has been created and there will be a button that allows you to go to the model, which you can access from here as well. Expand your project, go to the data set, and under model section, you should see the model you have created. So click the model. And once you get the model, you will go to the schema tab. And on the schema tab, you will see labels and features. Labels is the target, the output field, which is predicted score. And features will list the input fields that were taken into account for creating this model, for getting this target. Basically, this is a dependent variable and these are the independent variables, labels and features, right? Label is your target variable, which is a result, the prediction variable, the target variable, or the dependent variable, so many names. Features are your inputs, basically output and input. That's it. You will be able to see that once the query is complete. In our case, it is still running. So let's skip to the code lab. Once you have created the model, remember how we evaluated in Vertex AI? You just clicked the evaluate tab and you saw the results. In the case of BigQuery, very simple. It is another query. So you will copy this. I'm going to run this on an existing model, which has already been created. So because you cannot finish this right now, that's why. This model will take some time to complete. So I'm going to use an existing model that I created previously. I'll run this and I'll show you what the evaluation looks like. As you can see, this is a logistic regression. So you should see these fields that you see right here in your evaluation result, right? I'm not claiming that these are good results. I'm just showing you what I got. The focus right here is how to do it, not basically the focus is not on the model or the efficiency of the model per se. That is something for you to figure out, but you should be able to see the, why am I getting this instead of, oh, got it, because you should be able to see the precision, recall, accuracy, and all that. This is a different model that I created at that time. That's probably why you're getting it. me run this. We try a different model. Yeah. Probably there is no data right there. Something is going on here, but this is just a sample model I created. This is the kind of result you will be seeing: precision, recall, accuracy, FN score, log loss, and RFC, AUC. So just take a screenshot of this and send it to me once your model creation completes in BigQuery. Oh, it's completed actually. So it should be complete for you too. So go to model, copy the name of the model, movies underscore score underscore model, right? So yeah, so we already got the model. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to run this anyway. All right. So in my case, you're able to see this. You're seeing the evaluation also, or you can just give me this screenshot also. This is fine. Right here. You got the aggregate metrics right here. Just send me the screenshot of this if your model is complete, whenever it is complete, right? So this is what we want to see: threshold, precision, recall, accuracy. This means that you've completed this. Now, there are other things that you can do. Now, with a model is created, a model is evaluated. Now, I want to see how to use it in a query to predict, right? So I'm going to copy this predict query. Another simple query, ml.predict. That's it. So let's go back to the query section. Paste it here. In my case, it's movies finale, which is, in your case, it is just movies, the dataset name. That's pretty much it. I won't be changing much. Just change the quote because it seems to be different. If it's showing error, just change the quote and run this. And what is it actually predicting? There is no data. So let me see what I have in this table. Movies underscore score. Oh, sorry, it should be movies finale. That's why, in my case. So I'm just trying to see what I have here. Limit 1. So I'm seeing the results. Data cat test. So I'm just going to use, let me see if I have any predict data. If not, I'm going to change this to predict. Let's see what result I'm getting. No data, so I'm going to change it to test. So basically what it's doing, I'll tell you in a minute. We are using the model that we have just created to predict a bunch of records, a bunch of movies. So I have predicted about 36 movies right now. All right. As you can see right here, it has predicted my movie score, IMDb score, right? It has predicted that. Now, how does this query know what to predict? ml.predict is the construct that tells BigQuery that use the model name that is following that. Use that model to predict test data, to predict the data that the user is going to provide. Now, what is the data that the user is going to provide? That is the second half of the query, which is select star from movie dataset dot table name condition. Data cat is test. So in this table, I have selected 36 rows, which are under test category, which I want to use to predict the score using the model that I just created. So basically, this is what this SQL means. Now I just ran this query on 36 records, and this is the result I've got. So the query movie has a score, predicted score of 7. You can see the distribution of the labels here. And the movie Saga of Tanya the Evil has got 8. Movie Tenet has got 8. Movie Onward has got 7. Love by Drowning has got 7. Black Wall Street Burning, 6. Star Trek First Frontier has got 6. We can just check this with IMDb to check if it's anywhere close. It's a 5.6. Star Trek has got 5.6. And we have got what? What have we got? 6. Not bad. 5.6 and 6. Again, don't rely on this model or this data distribution that I have. It's not very good. So I'm not supposed to be particularly happy with the result, but it still looks, for the sake of it, it looks very relevant. It's very close to the actual rating, so I'm glad. And we are able to complete it. I'm glad even more. So in your case, if you're able to run this query and get the screenshot, that is fine too. If you're not able to run the predict query, worst case, send me the evaluation screenshot at least. That ends our track 2. On time, we have completed track 1 and track 2. There is another step right here in page number, in step number 8, that will tell you how to deploy this BQML model that we have created in Vertex AI. So that is very simple. Even that is another SQL query. That is the best part of BQML. Everything is handled in queries. So there's only one word or one construct that we'll add right here. This line. That's it. Model underscore registry equal to Vertex AI, and Vertex underscore AI underscore model underscore version underscore aliases is logistic reg experimental. That's it. If you add this to your model that you have just created, then you're all set. Your model that you have created using queries in BigQuery will reflect in Vertex AI. Can we try that out? Let's do that right here. I'm going to the query where I created the model. Since it says create or replace model, it's fine. It will just replace the model. But the worst part is it will go through the model training process again. So please don't do this. I'm not expecting you to deploy this. I'm going to do this just to show you. That's all. Okay. So I've included these two here, and I'm going to run this. That's all. Once the model is complete, I will be able to see this movie score mod. Oh, the name might have been already taken. Anyway, let's see. You should be able to see this particular model in the Vertex AI model registry right here. We should be able to see that in the model registry. Click deploy new model registry, right? So it will be listed here. Oh, there it is. I just started running the query. It's already deployed here. Movies underscore score underscore model. Just right now, 1958, BigQuery ML sourced from there. That's it. So if you click this, you can get the endpoint for it. You can get whatever you want from here. That's it. We are done with both track 1 and track 2. I hope this was useful for you. I'm going to stay around for 5 more minutes to see where you're all at and how you found the whole experience. And once you complete this, I want you to send me the results here. Let me just do it right away as I'm waiting. Please feel free to unmute one by one and ask questions. Anubhav, you can probably let me know first. You can let me know how it was and if there is anything that you'd like to have seen differently.
Yeah. Hey, thanks a lot for your session. And it says reducing noise. Anyway, thanks a lot for your session. And I think we had a lot of exciting participation, right? Tons of queries and chat itself. And yeah, I think a lot of people are waiting for the recordings as well. And pretty sure like everyone took benefit of the credits. Even I got one activated. So yeah. Yep. Yeah. I think people still do have questions. They are asking like, how do they submit the screenshots and how do they prove that they have completed their trainings? Besides that, some of them are worried about how much time it will take. So yeah, I think I've answered that a couple of times. It will take around 15 to 20 minutes at max to get this model trained, as we saw in case of Abhirami and many others in the chat, that it took like 15 minutes for the model to train. Once you have done that, you can take a screenshot and you can submit in the form which Abhirami will share. Yes, we will be sharing a flat pricing for the next few hours for the tickets of GCCD. Besides that, we'll also be announcing 3 winners for the free tickets today. I think I'll let Abhirami do that. And yeah, do you want to take questions right now, Abhirami, or do you want to do the announcement first and then take the questions?
I can take the, just let me first paste the link for the form where they have to edit and send the same form, but I'm going to send the link again.
Sure.
Let me just do that quickly.
Sounds good.
Allow response editing. Okay, it is there. I've already included the 2 fields where they have to copy paste Google Docs link. So I'll show you how to create the Google Docs link in a second.
Mhm.
I have pinged the link to the form again in the bottom. It is also available in abhirami.dev slash, where's that, the season 1 finale link. So if you go there, scroll down to the bottom, there is a page that says registration link, and towards the end it says link to screenshots. So please use that. Wait a minute, just a second. You have to edit your response. Okay.
Do you think you can show them how to do that? That would be
Yeah, I'll show you.
sure.
Let me share my screen. Whenever you're ready with the results, Ria. So I'm going to announce something with the liberty I've taken from Anubhav and Jyoti. So basically, the first updates that we are getting from 2 people who have completed both track 1 and track 2 and send us the screenshots will get free registration coupons to Google Cloud CCD Community Days Kolkata. So whenever it's ready, fastest fingers, first 2 will get free coupons and others will get a flat rate, all of who has participated today. So definitely everyone has something to take. I'm going to show you how to edit the form. So this is the form. I've already submitted. No, I have not submitted the result from here, so you won't see it. So here, I've already submitted using this ID, so it will allow me to edit. And it's not allowing me to edit, it's asking me to submit again. So if you have already submitted, it will allow you to edit. So click on edit your response and go to the end. And I have included 2 columns, track 1 result and track 2 result. Please paste your doc link containing track 1 screenshot here. This is Google Doc, same thing, Google Doc link containing track 2. So how will you create Google Doc? Docs.google.com. Open a new blank doc. For this, you need to have Google ID, Gmail ID. Click and get a screenshot, whatever screenshot you need. For example, let me show you what I want to show you, what I want you to show me here. It's slow. I'm going to go to query results right here. Like I showed you, go to the, hold on, it's still running. Okay. Somebody has to mute, sorry. If you needs to mute, I don't know what is, please mute yourself. So I'm going to take a snippet of this. This is what track 2, right? So I will say track 2 result. And paste this. Right. If you want, you can put both in the same document, but you have to paste the document twice. Only then I'll know you have completed both track 1 and track 2. Track 1 results. You have to go to the Vertex AI page, like I showed you before. Go to the training page. So once it's complete, I'm going to open the one that's already complete, right? So go to that page and go to evaluate. Evaluate, you can copy paste this, right? This one that you're seeing right here. Or you can do a deploy and test and show me this one also. You can test your model. Either one is fine. Either you show me that or you can show both. Give me this this part, and with the prediction result on the right hand side. Or you can just, it's enough to just show the evaluate results part. You go here. Same thing as you copied for BigQuery, you can also copy for Vertex AI. Go to evaluate. Yeah, this part. So just copy paste this, or just take a screenshot of this and paste it in the Google Docs file that we have. Right. Copy this, go back to editing, track 1 and track 2. Now, since I have both in the same doc, I'm going to, and make sure you click share, just save some name, and make general access, make sure anyone with the link is able to access. Copy that link and paste that link in both track 1 result, track 2 result. So that's way I will know you have submitted both. If you're submitting only once and you have 2 screenshots, we might miss out on finding out who's the winner. So make sure you copy those 2. And since all of this will already be entered for you, you don't have to enter it. If you have not entered it before, please do enter it and then submit. I would be able to see that today. I'll be checking. That's it. That's it about the query result. Sorry, the track results. If you want to play with this app, which is unnecessary, but if you want to, here it is. If you want to build something similar, you can take a look at the GitHub repo, which has all the code that went into building this. So I'm going to share you that as well right here. Vertex AI training won't be completed now. It will take another hour at least. So don't worry, don't panic. You will get an email once it's completed. So just be vigilant in your email. That's all. In the email that you use to register for this project, right? That's the same email you need to check. Or not for this session, the email that you use to register the Google Cloud Console project. All right. If it is ready, then yeah, you should be able to get the screenshot of that evaluation. So how to get the evaluation? I already told you, you have to click the model. Let me show that one more time. I don't want you to be confused. You go to Vertex AI. On the left, you will go to training. And if your model is complete, in my case, it is still running. It's still saying training. If it is finished, it will show like this, green check mark. I'll click that. Once it's ready, I will be able to see the evaluation. Right now, it is not complete. That's why I'm not able to see evaluate. I'll show you the one that is already completed, so you know the difference. So it looks like this. You should see the evaluate screen, and you should see the result right here. This part you will be able to see. You will take a screenshot of this and send to me. All right, so that's about it. I have given you all the links and all the details that you need. Now, one last thing I want to say is anyone who is who's interested to become a mentor and to conduct similar sessions for your batch, your classes, or your co-workers, or even for our own communities, if you like to contribute, if you like to create new projects, if you like to write blogs, if you want your code and your exercise to come as code labs or your experience to be published in Google's blog sites and channels, please use this form, the same form that I've sent to you. I will see your response, whether you have chosen to become a mentor, whether you want to become an innovator champion, or if you want to participate in upcoming hackathon. So I'll be reaching out to you. If you're selected no, but you're interested now and change your mind, feel free to edit your response and send it. Now, Google Cloud Innovator, click this link. You'll be able to land on this Google Cloud Innovators page. You will get a lot of benefits of learning, credits, and other opportunities to contribute and be in close association with Google Cloud teams. You will get benefits above $1,500 for a certain registration fee, that if you want to upgrade to premium. But if you want to innovate using this regular profile, please feel free to go ahead and see what benefits you have. You will get a lot of discussions. You'll get a lot of cloud related opportunities and all that. So it allows you to innovate, create projects. Please feel free to do this. Use the link that I shared with you in the form. You can also go to abhirami.dev and right here, you see this Become a Cloud Innovator Champion, click that. Otherwise, you can just go to my homepage, abhirami.dev. It's right there, Become a Cloud Innovator. Click that, it will take you to this page and you can sign up. There is no limit for learning, so I would encourage you all to do that if you're interested. Yes, and after completing and submitting the results to me and the team, your billing account will not be frozen. Oh yeah, that is a joke. Okay. Yeah. So you can delete the projects if you want also, that's not a problem, but delete your projects. Why do you want to keep this? You can create new projects, or if you want to keep it for the sake of learning, make sure you go and pause your billing. And that's still a possibility. You can do that, okay? You have not used your credit card, so no need to be afraid. For another session, we'll have more credits. We'll come up with more credits. So that's about it. Any question? I'll stick on for 3 more minutes. Sorry for still facing issue with BigQuery 5th step. What is the 5th step? Let me see. Track 1 or track 2? Creating and loading the data set, you mean? Deep. Okay. Not found data set. Track 1. Okay, creating the data set. That means your dataset moonlit -casing -3A3013 is not there. Is that your project name or dataset name? Yes, we will send you the recording link, definitely. Agdeep, can you share your screen quickly? Okay, so what I found is, Agdeep, I think you're using your project name instead of dataset name. It seems to me like it's project name. Yeah, that is the problem. Your dataset name should be right. Otherwise, you will get an error. All right. Any other question that I can help with before we close out? I'll take 2 more questions and then I'll share the recording. Yeah, Google Drive link is also fine, Ayan. Whichever is convenient. Flat price of Anubhav, do you want to take that question? Yes, I
Yeah. Okay, to answer your query, Ria, the flat price of
Anubhav, sorry
yes,
to interrupt. Can you stop the recording? And
sure.
yeah. And once we complete the session and once the recording